Decided to do a little video of driving downtown. I really love this motorcycle culture because there's so many more bikes on the road than cars. You go to the mall, they'll have entire parking garage floors with nothing but motorcycles, and there's hundreds. But I might seem a little dangerous doing this, but I've gotten pretty decent on this bike, and my bike is automatic, so I really don't need the other hand for slow speeds. You know, as long as I lightly use my front brake, I just can't hit it too hard. But so it's kind of fun. You kind of cut around traffic a little bit. You know, so many people. This is kind of like after school time, so you see people on the, you know, using these tuk-tuks and little cars to actually take their kids home from school. And for a short trip, it's usually only about, you know, maybe 50 to 75 cents equivalent. You know, so it's really not that bad, even if you're making Thai money here. It's kind of cute, actually. Here's a temple over here. They're beautiful. Sometimes you can kind of talk to people as you pull up on the bikes. I'm not riding as aggressively because, you know, I'm using one hand and filming, so. But it's actually a lot of fun, I think, to cut around traffic. And, you know, that this is just rush hour. It's best just to take your time. Whole lot of commerce here, you know. I love really it's a lack of regulation, you know. There's no problem, just any mom and pop, you know, selling their food. You know, they don't have to get licenses as far as I know. They don't have to pay a tax or get inspected, or, you know, I remember I started a brownie company when I was younger, and or a few years ago, and it was really a lot of stuff to go through to sell brownies. So, you typically on a bike, you stay on the side of the road or kind of toward the middle. You basically stay in areas where they can get, you know, cars can get around you. And then when you come up to these little stops, it's kind of normal to pass up all the cars and kind of just wait. Yeah, so here's just a little trip. I'm headed back from the gym, and I have a friend that works at a bar. I just want to say hi to them real quick. I'd like to get a little bit of a trim, but I'm kind of afraid after my experience in Bangkok, so I might try to find a picture of what I'm trying to look like first before I get my hair cut in the future. Maybe that will help. Here's a little school over here. And it's just totally normal just to kind of cut around traffic. And it's also normal to take up more than one lane. That was my first surprise in Bangkok, is that the taxi driver was driving in between lanes. I was like really afraid at first, and now I find myself doing it too. You just, you know, it's actually totally common to drive into oncoming traffic as well. And you'll see a lot of people riding these motorcycles are actually probably 14-year-old kids, 13, 14, 15-year-olds. So that's when I stopped kind of freaking out about not having a license. A lot of pictures of the king here. They all really love their king. They're kind of getting to know the new one. But this is how I spend a really big part of my time, is just riding kind of back and forth. The resort I'm at is great because it kind of gets me away from this stuff into a really peaceful place because I like to get some work done. And you know, I like the village life too, but with a little bike ride, it's usually about 25 minutes. You know, this time of day probably 35 minutes, but you know, I can be in the city and doing other things. It's kind of like the industrial age over here too. I've never seen so many trucks. You know, there's so much stuff going on here. Very industrial. But as you see here, just cutting in, going right through traffic. At first it scared the crap out of me, now it's just normal. I mean, it's hard to be really scared when you see little kids doing it twice as fast as you are. And so you actually have bicycles as well. This dude's cruising. These side lanes are really nice, but there's usually a lot of stuff going here. You're going on, loading, unloading, people backing out, so you don't want to just fly through these side lanes. You never know if a car door is going to open or whatever, because the driver's side is this side here. So but you know, I wanted to show you guys this, what it's like. You know, so many times these little buses here too. This is like the exact bus that I've been waiting for. I waited for it for 3 days and it never came, and I finally got the courage to start riding the bike into town. But what's funny is a lot of times you stop and they'll start talking to you and asking where you're from. Well, hopefully this is a nice little ride. I'm going to use both hands so I can get through this a little bit quicker. So I'll talk to you guys later.